Right, so how? Answer. Let's see. So first question is what? How many percent can he draw? Can he take a not? Yes. Okay, at least got 95% say yes. Second question, how many percent can he draw? Okay, good. Majority 75. Majority of the people say is can draw 75%. Okay, good. The answer is the red one. Right? At least you guys are quite familiar. So basically, right, for two fully paid up property, that means there is no loans. So when there's no loan, that means you can actually draw 75% on each property. Why? Why second property, right, can actually still draw a 75%? Why? Anybody can tell me, you know? Why second property is still able to draw 75%? Let's assume all the so-called their TDSR all matched lah. No outstanding loan. Yep. That means even though you draw out the first one, there's two property, right? Once you draw out the first one, this is called term loan. The word is called term loan. So if it's term loan, so it's not mortgage loan. So that's why the second property can still be considered. All right, this is for those people who may not be still very clear. At least now you are clearer because some of you got different answer, right? So just for your information, this is how it works, right? So more than one loan can only give up the maximum 45%. All right, it's not based on how many properties, it's based on the loan. So normally we do it only after TOP or CSC. Right, this is the only time we can cash out money. That's why just now I'm saying, right, some of our customer here, they sell, they can only buy one property. So when they make some money, they can gear up to buy a second property. By right, under MAS guideline, right, you cannot actually gear up the money to buy property. So I leave it to your creativities in a sense. As long as you are not going to the same bank to borrow the money, technically speaking, people may not see it, right? Because why? It's different bank. And of course, you can also borrow from your father, mother, whoever the person is, the money, right, to go and buy a second property. But at the end of the day, remember to return the money, that's all. If not, you take out the money, what you can do here is put under your bed. That's the most safest place. Nobody will know where your money come from, right? So that's the main thing here. So this is another way that you can actually do so what, but which is quite a common thing that people really do. It's just that under MAS guideline, people will want to put this into the so-called reason here. So when customer asks you, can give up the buy property now? I say, technically speaking, it's no, all right? But if you want to do, it's really up to you because at the end of the day, we must tell you still that by right, when you gear money, you are not supposed to use that for property purchase. But of course, you can borrow money from whoever it is. I leave it to you to buy your second property, right? So this is how I will probably answer to the customers. At the end of the day, we still must say our stand. After that, push everything back to them. So that is how we should be explaining. Now, the next one that we're talking about here is enhanced OPM method. What do I mean by this particular thing? So let me share with you again. So let's not bother about this wording here first. Let's look at this first. So if you look at this, Allen loan entitlement is 1.2 million. Allen loan entitlement is 1.2 million, which means that his maximum purchase price is 1.6 million. So how much should he buy for his first property, right? So let's say, for example, based on $1.6 million, all right, let me see. Okay, good. So if you look at this, based on the loan entitlement is 1.2 million, which means that, right, his maximum purchase 1.6 million. So how much should he buy for his first property, right? Okay, let's now all of you here, I want all of you, because all of you are supposed to know how much you can get, right? How to work out the calculation, right? Let's assume that now he bought at 1.6 million. So based on that, he has outstanding of 1.2 million. No CPF refund, nothing. Okay. Should the property value now at $2 million, right? How much can it be geared up? How much can he gear up? Please help me to work out. Okay, work out and show me the numbers. Okay, how much? All right, another 1 more minute. $600K. My goodness. Joel, how to get 600,000? Please explain to me, man. Have you used your PAF calculator? Right, please use your PAF calculator. If not, you mentally work out the numbers and tell me whether you can gear up how much. 600,000 for sure is wrong. Okay, are we ready? Let's end the poll here. 300,000, 200,000, 0. So what's the answer? So let's say, for example, those people who say 300,000, right? Because why? All of you are taking 75% times 2 million minus your outstanding loan minus your CPF refund, right? So at the end of the day, what's the amount? 300,000. Am I right to say that? So this is what you all are getting the result of 300,000, right? So if let's say based on 300,000, your outstanding loan is how much? 1.2 million, right? Plus 300,000 is what you can get out from the gearing, right? So your new outstanding loan is now how much? 1.5 million. Am I right to say that? Am I right to say that, everyone? Correct or not? Is it right or wrong, everybody? Yes,
Yes, correct.
Okay, good. So now if you see that it's 1.5 million, right? But your loan entitlement is only how much? 1.2 million, right? Am I right to say 1.2 million? So it based on 1.2 million, right? But you have taken 1.5 million. So do you think you still can draw out 300,000? So the answer is what? Is zero. The answer is zero. Because you add up together is 1.5 million, which is above what you can loan. So the bank will not grant you the additional 300,000. So that's the reason why this example is for what purpose? This example is to let you know one thing. If today you want to buy a property and your intention is to make cash out some money in the future, you should not maximize your loan until that. What you should do here is to what? You should not maximize, but you should plan backward. So now, instead of what? Right? Instead of buying it at how much? 1.6 million, you buy it at 1.2 million. So if based on 1.2 million, right, what is your outstanding loan now? 900,000. So now I want all of you again to calculate for me. If now the valuation is 1.5 million, how much can you cash out? Please work out the numbers and tell me. How to get 600,000, Paul? Good. The answer is what? 225,000. So 225,000 plus 900,000. What's the new loan now? The new loan will be 900,000 plus 225 is 1.125 million. Is it match? So this is how it works. So why am I going through this exercise with you? I'm going through this exercise with you is to let you know one thing. If your intention is to plan later on to cash out some money, you should not what? Maximize your loan, right? So may you ask how to get 225,000. Can you use your PA app now to do so? We have been going through the exercise just now from the first part until now, right? How to do the cash out. Hey, can you unmute your mic?
Yes.
Yeah, so what's the formula of doing equity cash out?
Valuation times 75% minus outstanding loan.
Yeah, so it's how much?
1.2 minus.
Your valuation is 1.5 million.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yep. Thank you.
So I mean, you can use your PA app to help you, but I normally seldom because why? Because it's very simple calculation, so it's quite easy to do. Just remember the formula will do. I mean, that's easy way. This objective is for those people who are intending to sell one property, buy one property, wait for the property to cash out, right, and take back the money. So can you imagine this person, right, actually bought a property at 1.2 million. So $1.2 million, $1.2 million, right, times 25%, actually she came out how much? 300,000 to down pay for this house based on $1.2 million, right? But he cashed out how much? 225,000. So technically speaking, right, this person bought this property at how much? This property take back how much? 75,000. Only to buy this property. So that's the reason why are we doing this? It's because we work backward. We work backward and do not maximize the loan. So that at least next time you can know how to play around, so that when the property appreciates, you can still cash out money. So that is the objective of this thing called enhanced OPM method, right? Is to use OPM is just leverage on the bank and get the money out. But this is a little bit more deeper in terms of planning. Why? That's the reason why it's so important to engage a property agent like yourself. Because why? If you have knowledge, you see, you can actually add values to many people. What's the full name of OPM? Other people money. Right? It's called other people money. So that is how it works. All right? So are we clear? All right, are we clear about this? Okay, good. So the next thing that we are talking about here is what? To help our clients to own a property, to increase their loan tenure after purchase, right? So based on the last measure, age is up to 65 to secure up to 75%. What does that mean? That means today, right? Let's say, for example, today you are age 45. And this is important, stretching of tenure, you all must know. Because when you want to take 75% loan, right, you can only borrow up to age 65, which the year of age is only 20 years tenure. This is the requirement, right? Only 20 years. If let's say, for example, today this is a new launch. And new launch, you can only refinance. Normally, most people refinance only when after TOP, because the penalty is lesser. Because for under construction property, right, if you want to redeem the loan or you want to actually restructure your loan, right, there is always a penalty on the undisbursement of loan. Undisbursed, because progressive, not the loan that not released one whole shot. So whatever that is not disbursed, you will be charged a percentage. It normally is about 0.75 or 1.75 to about 1.5%, depend on which bank. Right? So let's say, for example, 3 years later, this project TOP, which is at the year where your age is 48, plus 3, right? So you can actually ask for a refinance to stretch your tenure to 75. So 75 minus 48 is how many years? 75 minus 48, right, is 27 years. So that means your tenure now increased to what? 27 years tenure. That's how it works. All right, are we clear about this? Okay, this is for new launch, right? So now, let's say, for example, now today you are 36 years old. You want to borrow up to 65. And this is a resale property. Actually, resale property, after 1 year, right, you can actually refinance your property. So after 1 year, you add how many? Add 1. Because after 1 year, so now you become what? 75. So 75 minus 27 is how much? 75 minus 37, you have 38. But under refinance, maximum only up to 35. If you want to stretch your tenure. Even though you are younger, but your max is only 35. And that is important because why? For me, when I meet my customers, all these things, I look at their age, right? I always use this strategy. Because why? So that the customer feel very secure and feel comfortable when the installment is over. And that's the reason why this particular strategy, stretching of tenure, right, is actually important. Because why? It will make the customer feel at ease when it comes to the installment part. All right. So just that over this, if you really want to do a stretch, right, you must make sure that the bank that you took, right, the bank loan that you took, only have a lock-in of what? Lock-in 1 year. So that you will not get any penalty thereafter in terms of restructuring your loans part. All right, are we clear on this?
Boss, Alfred here. So does this resale thingy, does it apply to HDB as well?
No. Only
okay,
private.
so HDB cannot refinance.
Yeah, only private and EC. HDB, you only refinance to so-called bank loan or HDB loan. Bank loans are generally from HDB loan to bank loan. Stretch tenure don't have.
Okay, thank you, boss.
Yeah. Am I right that most consumers like to pay off their loan ASAP? If you ask me, Catherine, I don't think so. Because most of the people today would like to leverage on the bank because the interest rate was so low. And honestly, if those we have a lot of CPF, I rather put my CPF in the CPF account to give me 2.5%, rather than I put the CPF into the house, right? And government will charge me 2.5% interest. So I rather don't do that. How do I counter such objection? Objection on what? What do you mean by Catherine?
Hi.
What do you mean by?
Hi, this is Catherine, Kelvin. Okay, what I mean is, my friends around me, they always talk about, they want to, pay off their loan as soon as early as possible. Nobody want to work until 65, 75 years old to pay off their loans. So, and over here, we are trying to stretch the tenure. So how do we actually
okay, actually there's only one of the problem I want to stress here. This is called don't have safety net. So some people choose to pay off, but the problem here is that, right, for example, a lot of people choose to do this. Now you are maybe 45 years old. So you take a loan up to 65, for example. You try to pay off as fast as possible over here. But the problem here is that you exhaust all your CPF at the age of 50. Or your cash that you exhaust more. So what will happen next? If there is a crisis, if there's anything, what will happen? So they may not have enough to actually pay off the so-called debts. We have seen a lot of people last time, they didn't know about how to manage CPF, right? They throw all the CPF in the house. But do they still have outstanding loan? They still have. But because of crisis, because of job, there's no job for the person at that point of time, for example. Then what happens next? They are forced to sell the property. It's not wrong that they should fully pay it. Definitely not wrong. But it depends on how old they are. It depends on what are their end goal in mind. For me, I would rather use my money to actually grow in terms of wealth, right? How to grow my numbers in terms of moving forward. And probably I can use the money for other purposes. So it really depends on individual, what they are looking at, and depend on age. Those people who ask you, I'm not so sure how old they are. The young people, a younger group of people generally will not think about that in the sense. So normally they would prefer to take loans, and then after that they use the money to roll against. Generally, this is how it works.
Thank you.
All right. So HDB 2.5 accrued interest charge. Are they put back into own CPF account? Yes, Maureen, whatever CPF that you take out and pay your property, whatever CPF you take out and pay your property, eventually you must return back. Eventually. So like, for example, I have a customers, recently we just met, the CPF, husband and wife, HDB. That's what I mentioned to you, right? 385, 375 must return. So total is total CPF refund 760,000. The accrued interest is a lot because why 20 years staying there. So what happened today? The last unit just sold HDB at 580,000. So how much can he sell for his HDB? Lucky enough, 600,000. So Maureen, as a result, they lose how much money? They lose 160,000 of CPF away if they sell at 600. So that's why at the end of the day here, the CPF accrued interest is quite scary one. When it's compounded to many years, the numbers will jump. And when they jump and you cannot return back, you eventually lose, especially older estate. Older estate, the next problem here is that because their valuation cannot go higher, people always look at older estate, their loan issue here and there. So as a result, today this property is difficult to sell. And they still lose money. So isn't it very sad? So this is something that you must be very careful. And normally I will advise my customer accordingly. What is the next step to do so? So this is something that a lot of people don't understand, right? So eventually they lose money based on that, right? Everybody like them lah. Actually, honestly, Catherine, basically this customer fully paid the HDB, you know. Fully paid HDB.
Yeah.
Today he lost everything. He lost 160,000 of CPF. So is it worthwhile? Well, a lot of people don't understand. So eventually they lost money. So this is how it works. So I normally don't really advise that, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Are we clear this?
Thank you.
No problem. So again, this one, let's see what is the let's see. Okay, now let's work out the numbers for me. How many years can he get? $17 years, 20 years. I got different answer one. I thought it would be a snapshot answer. So what's the answer? Right, the answer is 24 years. I'm not so sure why you say 17 years, why 20 years, one, none of the above. I also don't know why. All right, so basically it's what? 48 plus 3 to 75. So the answer is 24. So that is the answer for that. All right, anybody not clear one? Actually, this is quite important because a lot of customers are very, very concerned about installment. So if you do not plan it correctly, right, the customer will not tell you how they feel about their installment. Their subconscious will tell them that they are afraid as well. So this is the part that you may want to be careful on this. So normally when I work out with my customer, I always tell them that they can stretch their tenure up to 75. New launch plus so-called after TOP. Resale, immediately after 1 year, they can stretch the tenure if they want to. So that will make them feel that it's easy for them to do anything if they want to. So this is something that you should take note of. All right. So stretching of tenure, normally we only do it after TOP, as I mentioned to you, because why? Because this is to avoid the penalty that is involved on the undisbursement of loan. So this is for you to take note also. All right. So this is how it works. Okay, next question. Okay, please work out this. For those who press decouple, are you sure can decouple or not? Can they do gearing? Who say can do gearing one? Please make sure you punch your number correctly so that you know whether you can gear up any single cent or not. EC after 5 years, you can. After, wow. EC after 5 years, you can do the gearing as well if you want to. Or you want to do the stretch also can. All right, let's see. Yeah. So what's the answer? The answer is 55% and 439,000. Okay, so this is the answer that we are looking at. Why is it this so? Of course, for decoupling, it does not work because first and foremost, decouple is because you don't need to pay ABST, but they tell you that they actually got a cash to pay for ABST. But at this point of time, you do a decoupling, it's also no use because why? There's no cash involved. Can you do gearing? Can you do gearing? I'm not so sure who are those people who key in gearing. Based on the valuation today, can they cash out a single cent? Can I ask any one of you, those people who have tested the gearing, can they cash out a single cent? Thanks, Wilson. Joel, negative gearing. Yes, Jason, negative. So you see, so why will people still key in gearing? I hope that those people who, I mean, it's good that you put in the answer, but just that I want to know why you put in gearing. Is it you don't understand what is called gearing? Because the formula is very clear-cut one, whether you can cash out money or not. You just need to use this calculator can already, right? Equity cash term loan. You key in this, you will know the answer whether you can cash out money or not, right? So very important, right? So if the only reason here is that why are we doing 55%? Because why? Remember one thing that why do we want to look at 55%? Because you must understand one thing. When someone is at the age of 48, right? This is the very sensitive age. I must not say sensitive, because very soon I also will be there, so everybody will also be there soon. So we cannot say it's sensitive, right? But most important is what? No, when you are age 40-something, 50-something, right? This is the time that the tenure become very short. Can you imagine just now some of you say, right, I want to do 65. So based on 48 to 65, what will happen? So 65 minus 48, right? You only have 17 years tenure. And 17 years, is it very short? Very short. So the installment, is it going to be high? High. So when the installment is going to be very high, what will happen? The customer will have fear. So if you take a 55% loan, right? What is the advantage? Because why? You still have another what? 280,000 of CPF in the OA. So if based on 439 plus 280, you will still give you above 700,000 that you can purchase in terms of your property. You can still buy that kind of prices. But if you do a 75% loan, right, it's only 300. You probably buy less than $600,000 property, which is not many of a choice. But my objective of this particular Q&A session here is what purpose? Is to remind everybody that when there's someone of the age of this kind of range, 40 plus, 50 plus, you must be sensitive enough to realize one thing. I cannot get them as age 65. I must always think if I can stretch to 75 or not, so that the installment can be lower. A lot of them will want to buy property, but because they see that the installment is going to be high, right, they will have concern. So that's the reason why all of you must be sensitive towards this kind of age level. So that is important. So use mortgage loan on a PAF. Yeah, let me show you. You see, this is a mortgage loan, right? No, not use mortgage loan. You use TDSR. So look at the income is how much? What's the income? 3,005. The age by right is 48, right? So based on this, the calculation based on 48 is only 322 based on 17 years. So how to, because the calculator at this point of time, we have not set in terms of 75% and 55%. So if let's say, if you want to work backward to go for 55, right, you just need to change this 38. Between 65 to 75 is plus 10 years, right? So you just need to minus the person age by 10 years, right? You automatically will stretch the tenure already to 439,000. So that is how you use the calculator to work backward. So you can go for 27, right? For just to add on, that means this person is 48 years old, right? If I go by 75, right, straight is 27 years. So if because of the calculator, current issue here can only do until age 65, right? What you need to do here is you minus 10, become 38, 65. So you will still get 27 years. All right, anybody don't understand what I'm talking about? One? Are we clear on this? We are working on the calculator again to re-stretch it. Are we clear on this? Okay, yes, okay, good. So next question here is pledge. Can explain why not decouple? First, decouple, why not decouple yet is because first you decouple, you don't get back any single cent much. So that's why we feel that decouple also no use unless you want to take out the name of the ownership. But the problem here is that it's not about the ownership here because they are willing to pay the ABST unless your objective is to decouple strongly the decouple part in a sense, but you must also work out the decoupling, right? Whether it makes sense or not in terms of getting the numbers out. Because at the end of the day, when you want to decouple, right, one of the reasons why people decouple here is also to cash out extra money. But if you are talking about they cannot cash out, right, then they may not see a reason of doing that. So that depends on them. Of course, my objective is here is because why I have not gone into decoupling as well, because I'm going step by step now, right? So 75 is for new launch or refinance only. Only for refinance. Linson, that means when we talk about age 75, it does not matter whether is it new launch or resale. Both can apply. Both can apply. But when we refinance, we can go straight to 75. But if you want to take a 75% loan, you can only work up to the age of 65 when you buy that property. But when you are buying a property, right, that you are not taking 75% loan, you are taking 55% loan, right? It's based on 75. So this is how it works. I mean, you should know. This is the thing that you must understand one. Okay, Ken, Vincent, you understand what I'm talking, or did I answer your question? Okay, good, thank you. So next we do what is called pledge and unpledge. So when do we use pledge and unpledge? And this is also another very important aspect as well. So why do we use pledge and unpledge? When someone tells you, Kelvin, I don't have enough salary, but I have cash with me, right? Someone will tell you, hey, my income not strong, but can I still take 75% loan? Can. You do a pledge or unpledge, right? So that pledge means what? Pledge and unpledge means you show funds to the bank to justify for the 75% loan. Pledge means that you let the bank hold it for the next 4 years. Unpledged means that I only need to show the bank when applying the loan this X dollar. Before the loan dispersed, another time X dollar. But if you are buying a new launch, you must show another time, right, when the loan dispersed. You see, sometimes when you buy a new launch, the foundation work is not even done yet, the foundation work. So, if the foundation work is not done, that means when the foundation work is ready, you still need to show this additional funds to the bank one more time before the loan can disperse. So there is a difference. But if today the foundation is done, the extra 5%, because we down pay 25%, right? There's additional 5% already bank dispersed. Bank already dispersed. Then you just need to show when you apply the loan, before the loan dispersed, 2 times only. So this is something that you must take note of when it comes to pledge and unpledged. Never mind. So let's work out the numbers here. So what you need to do here is that, let's say for example, this question, how do we go about doing it? So what's the answer? So what you need to do here is, you look at here, we have this calculator, right, called pledge and unpledged. So they intend to buy a property at how much? 1 million. Intend to buy a property at $1 million. The income is $4,000. Age is 41. Loan 75. So over here will tells you exactly how much. Pledge is how much, unpledged is how much. So based on this is what? Pledge is 116, unpledged is 387. So this is how it works when you want to use the calculators, right, to do so. Okay, so do we understand this? Okay, so this is the calculation. So the answer is the red color one. Pledge is how much, unpledged is how much. Okay, so this is how it works for pledge and unpledged. And this is really, really important. So Xing Yi was asking me again, show 3 times at what stage for new launch. Sorry, Xing Yi, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. Ask me a question.
Sorry, I just want just now you mentioned already, but I missed it. So you said that you have to show it 3 times. So which are the 3 times that you have to show the money?
Before you apply the loan, before you apply the loan, right, you need to fill up the forms, whatever, right? That's 1 time. So completion of the process 1 time. Before the actual loan disbursement, 1 more time. Because for new launch, as I mentioned, if the foundation work is not done, foundation is the first one, right, that will be drawn down. If the foundation is not done, you need to wait for this foundation to come in and say, hey, fund is needed for foundation work already because it's done already. So when this is done, the bank is supposed to disperse the money. So before the bank disperse the 5%, you must show the fund again. But if it's a resale, it's different. Because why? The fund need to be dispersed after completion. So you only show 2 times. Before the loan apply, loan disbursement, that means 1 week before the completion, you must show this fund. After you show already, you can use the money already. That's how it works.
Sorry, and can I just ask for pledging, the bank has to hold it for how, as in
4 years.
how 4 years. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. So this one, next question. Can it be done? Yes, no, not sure. Well, you're so fast one, I can say yes one. How come can be so fast? So is it possible? Okay, let me show you. Okay, so majority say yes. I do not know how fast you can do it. I don't know how you manage to do it as well. So technically speaking, you must do the calculation. All right. So can I just get everybody to look at here, because why we can look at this asset planning tool calculator. So this asset planning calculator, right, you can actually plan in the numbers much more clearer. Let's say, for example, this is 36. Let's say this is Kelvin. Okay. Right, so the monthly salary each is how much? Kelvin is 6,008. Okay, then the next one here is Elaine. The age is 040. So the income here is 3,000. So basically, if you look at this, of course, we can look at TDSR, how much the person is here and there, right? So let's say because this one is auto calculated already, so not so important. So intention to sell, yes. So if they want to sell the property, right? So we put it at how much? The worth is 1.35 million. So what's the outstanding loan? Outstanding loan is 350,000. Correct? So 350,000 is required. So CPF for owner 1 is 100,000. Owner 2 is also 100,000. Okay, so you proceed. So based on this, you put in the gross proceed is about 800,000, right? From here you can see, from the screen here, right? Everybody can see, right? 800,000. For those who have your calculator with you, because now you're using your MacBook or your iPad to watch me, you should also use your handphone, right? Together to work out the numbers with me together. So that at least you know how to go about doing it, how to work out the numbers here and there, right? So this is important. So if you look at the net cash proceed here is 769,000. The CPF refund here is 200,000. This is what the assets they have now at this point of time, okay, to actually buy their property or whatever. So next, so based on the fund detail that Kelvin has today, here is CPF got 100,000. Current OA is 0 because we never put anything at all, so we must change. This Elaine also 0, we put 0. Okay, so total available cash is 769,000. Total funds available because of the CPF, right? Total 969,000. All right, you can see from here. So let's proceed. So the question here is that, right? Each want to buy a $1.2 million property. So the question here is it possible? So let's look at Kelvin. So this calculator has already done all the numbers for you. So they will take reference from where? They will take reference from your current Kelvin CPF OA got 100,000. Total cash proceed, just now we know here is 769,000. But for Kelvin, he can borrow up to 29 years old. All right. So what's the purchase price that they want to buy? 1.2 million. So it shows one thing. Wait, he said pledge and unpledged required. Because of their existing salary, they cannot. So there is a pledge and required. So automatically, right, the system will already calculate for you, right, what is needed in terms of pledging. So if you look at the deposit here, if you were to buy 1.2 million, right, you need 60,000 cash, 240,000 of CPF, stamp duty. Based on the loan of 900,000, right, the legal fees is 3,000 here and there. The fund needed to purchase this property, the CPF portion is 275. The cash portion is 60. But because their CPF only got how much? 100,000. So you see that the CPF automatically minus off become what? 175. That means it's a negative 175 from here. Cash balance, cash fund after purchase, 709. Why? Because he has how much original? 769. But 769, you need to minus away the 60,000 cash deposit 5%. So that's why the number become what? 709. Right? Based on 709, the balance funds required is 533. 510. Pledge amount is 3,000. Unpledged is 10,000. So basically, you look at the amount required, either is to top up the amount, or you just show funds of $3,000. You pledge your $3,000 to the bank for 4 years, they will grant you the 75% loan. If you want to do unpledged, you do a $10,000 unpledged. So is it possible? Yes. So you base on the interest rate of this, the money contribution here, basically everything is possible, right? So what is the outstanding balance funds? That means after paying the CPF and after paying the down payment required, which is 275,000 plus 60,000 plus the stamp duty required, right? Because here you see, 5% is 60,000, 20% is 240,000 plus 32,600. Total all in all is 32 something, right? So whatever that is not enough from the CPF, they will take your cash. So the balance cash that is available from this purchase left with how much? 533,000. 533,000 over here. So this 533,000, right, will be able to carry forward to the second purchase, which is the wife. So now wife Elaine will want to buy a property. The CPF, right, 100,000. The total cash available for Elaine now, right, is 535,000 brought forward from who? Kelvin. Whatever Kelvin has spent just now was originally about 769,000, right? So now, because of Kelvin has utilized about 200,000 to 300,000 over there already. So whatever balance it will brought forward to who? Elaine, which is left with 533,000 over here. So they can borrow how many years? 25 years. But he wants to buy how much? 1.2 million. Again, pledging and unpledging is required. Why? Because not enough in terms of what? In terms of the salary. So same thing, 60,000, 240,000. Stamp duty same, right? Total all in all required how much? 275 plus cash 60,000. So again, CPF there's a shortage of 175. Where does it come from? Again, you will come from the cashier. So the balance fund now left with how much? 297,000. So this is the balance fund that they have, 297,000. So based on 297,000, you need to show pledge. Unpledged is 721, which is not enough because why? We only have how much left? 297. So this option is out. So we can only do what? Pledge, which is 216, which I can use this money to offset here. So if I sell my property away, I just need to show the bank this dollar, 216,000. I can already buy the amount already. I can buy the property already. So this is how generally it works. So if you ask me, so can this process work? The answer is yes, it can work. Because after selling, after buying, you still have balance funds to show pledge. That's why it works. So this is how basically it works for this particular asset planning calculator. So this asset planning calculator has already plugged in the pledge and unpledged for you so that you know whether you can afford or not afford. So if some of you here doesn't know how to work on it, right, you can actually use this to actually do the necessary calculation, right? At the end of the day, you will be able to know whether yes or no. So the answer for this is actually yes. Because you have enough money after buying Kelvin unit, after buying Elaine unit, whatever shortfall of money to be pledged or unpledged is also enough. So as a result, can they proceed to do this? The answer is yes. So this is how it works. Anybody not clear what I'm talking about? One? Because it's a little bit technical, so it's not easy to just deliver based on this way. But the calculator already has structured the flow this way already. Anybody not clear? One? Hi, everybody, are we clear? Yes or no? Please help me to type as well so that at least I know what, at least you all are clear or not clear. All right, good. Thank you so much. Okay, because with the calculator, it's quite straightforward now. It's much more easy. So at least it's not so difficult for you in terms. Thank you so much for those people who have responded to me. Appreciate that. Okay,
Kelvin, this
yep.
is yes. Did you say at the beginning that they have intention to sell or do not have intention to sell?
Intention to sell, not intention to sell.
Yeah, because at there's one point where when at the app, right, it asks you whether they intend to sell or not. Do you key in intend to sell at that point?
My discretion, you mean? Here never say intend to sell, not intend to sell.
Oh, I just now in the app, in the PA app, at the
over here. Intend to sell, intend to sell.
intend to sell. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Because I need to do the intent to sell so that I can continue
Okay.
the step by step.
Then the intent
Yeah.
to sell, your selling price was how much do you put?
Same, 1.35 million.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, don't to worry. Just go back and use the calculator and run through one more time, just in case if you are not comfortable or whatever. Okay, good. Do you want to take a break for a short while? Do you all want to take a short break at least to clear the mind a little bit, 10 minutes? Okay, good. All right, so we come back at about 3:45 lah. 3:45 take a coffee break.